Moro versus Beerus, who survives depowered, or if their special abilities are removed? Let's start off with Moro first here and talk about his strategy in survival right off the bat. Now imagine a cosmic anomaly completely resets the power levels of the universe's most terrifying entities to absolute zero. There is no god key, there's no magic, there's no flying, not even energy blast. We're looking strictly at who survives based off of raw biology, instincts, and physical frame. I think Dragon Ball fans forget this is about martial arts. We didn't start getting all this fancy stuff really till the later end of the original Dragon Ball and the beginning of Dragon Ball Z. Let's start entirely with Moro, again, the Planet Eater. Physically, Moro's an absolute tank, okay? Even without his magic, his prehistoric, goat-like species is naturally massive and built to survive the harshest cosmic environments. If you want to even look at how this works in real life, just look up footage of goats surviving in the mountains. It's pretty cool. But he possesses incredible natural durability, okay? He has those thick horns at the top of his skull and a heavy skeletal structure. Now remember, before he ever absorbed like millions and millions and gazillions and billions of planets, he survived for 10 million years locked away inside the galactic prison, okay? We remember that from the manga. His body is naturally optimized for extreme long-term endurance and desolation. However, Moro's entire combat history really relies heavily on predation and theft, and that's kind of why I still don't take him as seriously as a villain to this day. That's just a personal tidbit. But his go-to tactic has always been draining his opponents from a distance before they can even touch him. Big pause, okay? Because of this crutch, his actual hand-to-hand martial arts skills are highly unrefined in my opinion, and really without the ability to steal energy. His primary win condition is completely gone. So in this deep-powered state, Moro has to rely strictly on intimidation, raw swinging power, and his massive physical leverage in order to crush his threats. Now, if this survival scenario takes place over a long period of time on a barren planet, let's say, Moro's biology gives him a massive advantage. Why? Because he can withstand extreme temperatures and starvation that would easily kill normal mortals. That's very important. Moro treats a barren wasteland like his personal playground, okay? He's got the grit, the stubborn resilience to dig in, to endure any sort of catastrophic weather or event that would come about in that landscape. And I think he has the capacity and the ability to just simply outlast anyone else based off of those characteristics. So for Moro, survival is really a game of pure exhausting attrition, and he's not really going to rely purely on martial arts. He's going to try to outlive anyone that he is fighting. Now, again, let's look on the other side of this when we look at Beerus the Destroyer. His strategy, his survival, again, no god key, we take away all his special powers. He's lived for millions of years. How does this look for Beerus? Now, Beerus may look lean, but his anatomy is inspired by the Egyptian Sphinx cat, meaning his frame consists of pure condensed muscle fiber, okay? That's very important to note. Because in nature, felines possess superior reflexes, as we know. They're explosive, they have these really fast twitch muscles, and then the unmatched flexibility to do crazy things mid-air, mid-tackle, whatever is happening. And most importantly, Beerus, again, has spent so many times, eons, I would say, training his physical vessel to move with absolute economy and efficiency. So even without ki, his body retains millions of years of muscle memory. That is an advantage he has over Moro right from the jump, and we haven't even really begun yet. So this is where Beerus takes a massive lead, because he has traditional, I should say, legitimate formal combat training. Beerus is not just a god because of his title. He is a master martial artist here, folks. Not just a martial artist that's good, not just a martial artist that was simply trained by Whis to be okay. He is a master martial artist, and Whis would probably still tell you that he's not exactly where he should be, because Whis is an angel. I think he holds that standard for more or less anyone. But Beerus fundamentally understands leverage. He understands pressure points. He knows how to redirect an opponent's momentum against them. We've seen that happen against Goku plenty of times. He doesn't need magic to fight, because his high combat IQ is hardwired into his consciousness right from the jump, okay? Beerus's reflexes allow him to easily dodge clumsy or heavy attacks from a larger, unrefined opponent, such as Moro, who's on the other side of this conversation that we talked about earlier. Now, however, Beerus does have a distinct biological weakness. weakness when it comes to prolonged survival scenarios, and that's his metabolism and his stamina. And we've seen that throughout the series. He's constantly sleeping for decades, or just going to nap for maybe a couple hundred years instead, and call that a nap, even though that's extremely long in our eyes. But he's gorging himself on luxury foods and all of these things, and without his divine energy to sustain him, essentially, his high metabolism, that feline biology, is going to burn through calories at an incredibly fast rate, okay? So, isolation scenario without resources where he's facing off against someone like Moro, Beerus would be under extreme exhaustion. Because of this limitation, Beerus cannot afford to play any long game of attrition, okay? He must survive and eliminate the threat immediately in order to avoid that long exhaustion type of scenario that doesn't play to his biology at all. Now, of course, we're talking millions of years of martial arts skilled, mastered, superior martial arts skills, agility, and lethal precision that's all been dialed in over more battles than we can count. I don't recall if Beerus has, battled as much as the Saiyans, but he has enough experience in sparring where I would say that still gives him more experience than most of the fighters in the Dragon Ball multiverse. Now, he's going to close the distance instantly in a fight. He's not going to waste time, and if he's fighting someone like Moro, he's going to use Moro's massive size against him, breaking some joints, again, hitting and targeting those pressure points, and making sure that Moro is not able to land a single heavy blow, because again, that is going to be the best asset, the best physical asset for Moro if he's in a close hand-to-hand combat situation with Beerus. So when the power goes away, in my honest opinion, it's your martial arts mastery that's going to conquer your opponent if you lose all your powers and your special abilities. And again, I think in this case, Beerus has millions of years of muscle memory, of martial arts training, sparring, learning things from Whis and whomever else they may mention at some point in time. I'm not sure what Toriyama may have had in store for Beerus, but hopefully we'll see that come to some sort of fruition. But Moro, again, he's really playing the long game. He's not trying to get into a close hand-to-hand combat fight. In fact, he's probably running the opposite way, and he's trying to hide longer than he's trying to actually fight Beerus. So give me your thoughts on who you think wins. I'm not siding with Beerus just because I think that just goes above and beyond most scenarios. If you have the experience, you're great. But again, if you're dealing with starvation or if you're dealing with extreme exhaustion like Beerus could be hit with at a later stage in the battle, well, then you see how the tides can shift for Moro. So I think if the battle is over quickly, Beerus is your winner here. If the battle prolongs, it gives Moro the better chance. Give me your thoughts in the comment section below. It's Kyle Ken Striker.